presentation for our nomination. Just give me a second. I'll just put up the slide. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning. The way we have designed the presentation today is we just have one slide where we are giving the information about what we have done. And secondly, I would take you to our online portal from where we are managing the trainings. Okay. So again, good morning each and every one of you, and thanks for having us here. So I'm Preetha Tripathi. I'm working as a scientist in FSSAI, and I'm part of the training division that takes care of the training of food handlers across the country. So this is our presentation on the preparedness and the training that we have devised for COVID-19 preparedness for the food handlers. As you know, India saw a month-long lockdown, and we were in a thrust of a pandemic starting March this year. So the food businesses that had to continue their business, they were in a state of, there was a lot of apprehension about preparedness because there was a lot of things going on in the market that certain food is not good, and if you consume maybe non-veg products, you are going to contract the disease. So there were a lot of miscommunications happening, and that led to a lot of confusions in general amongst the food industry. There were a number of do's and don'ts, that used to pour in the market on a regular basis, that you have to sanitize your vegetables, you have to sanitize your fruits, you have to leave it outside, and all such things. So in that scenario, it was becoming very difficult, for the food handlers to have a guided direction on how to approach and tackle this situation. Because we all understand food is an essential commodity. You cannot live a day without food. And having access to food that is safe and hygienic is very essential. And in times like what we are facing even right now, this pandemic is not over yet. So in March, there was a hell lot of confusion going around amongst the businesses, right from the restaurants to the retailers and the fruit and vegetable vendors and the grocery outlets on what is the correct procedure which they can adopt, and they can build up a sense of surety and assurance that the end consumer is satisfied, okay, that if I purchase it from here, this particular food is going to be safe and hygienic, and I'm not going to have any adverse effects. So for that, we did a lot of brainstorming with the expert panels that we have working with our authority. We have many industry experts, from industry and academia. So they took the responsibility of training food businesses, and a general guidance document on COVID preparedness that a food business operator has to adopt was designed. Simultaneously, content was created on the physical, the personal hygiene part, what the food handler has to follow, and how they have to ensure end-to-end management of safety and hygiene in their premises, right from they're getting the raw materials, how they are supposed to store it, and till the time it gets processed, and till the time it reaches the end consumer. So based on this guiding document, as you can see, a training module was developed. So in March, we did this ideation, we had these expert panels discussing, and in April, the content was ready, and we launched our first training on 27th April 2020. So the first training of COVID-19 that was given to the food handlers was conducted on 27th April, and till date, till September, as you can see here on the timeline visible on your screens, till date we have trained more than 80,000 food handlers. And this training was possible only because we have a very good link of training partners that are associated with FSSAI and who are placed across the country. So at this stage, we have around 250 training partners who are present in specific geographical locations within the country, of which 30 training partners took up the responsibility, and they conducted all these trainings free of cost for the food handlers. This awareness training is a 2 hours training, and these trainings, they were conducted online. And we have trained food businesses mostly in the retail sector and the food delivery sector, from these catering institutes, restaurants, street food vendors. We also done training for the street food vendors in certain states where street food was allowed. So this is how we have been working from the last few months to create awareness and train the food handlers on COVID preparedness. So this is with this slide. I would like to take you now to our FOSTAC portal, which is the training portal of FSSAI. Just give me a moment. I'll stop this particular screen and I'll share my other screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So as you can see here, you can just note down the URL of our initiative, that is fostak.fssai.gov.in. So here, as you can see on your screens, the number here, this is the number of training partners that are empaneled by us over the period of 3 years. So a brief thing about FOSTAC. FOSTAC stands for the Food Safety Training and Certification. And the reason why this initiative was taken up by FSSAI. So when the FSS Act was formed, it was entrusted upon the Food Authority under Section 3, under Section 16(3)(h), that it is the responsibility of the Food Authority to ensure that each and every food handler of the country is in a state where they receive proper training on following the food safety hygiene guidelines. So these guidelines that a food handler has to follow, they are in direct relation to the licensing and registration requirement that food business operator is supposed to adhere to and implement in their own organizations. So if you look at, the idea of training each and every food handler in the country, the numbers that we are looking at is mammoth. So just, with the available officers in the authority, if we had planned to take up this training and amp it up, it would have been nearly impossible to reach each and every food handler in the country. We're looking at numbers that run in crores. So as per our data, there are around 70 lakh food businesses that are licensed and registered within the country. And if we consider the number of people that are employed in these food businesses, that are way up 10 crores on an average. So how do we start? How do we do that? So for that, we built it, we identified who are the stakeholders, that we can look up to, who can help us in getting this training delivered on the ground. So the concept of training partners came into picture. So these training partners, the number that you see here, all these numbers on the screen, they are dynamic and they change every second or every minute as and when, the numbers keep on adding. So the training partners, as I'm saying, they are the agencies, they are certification bodies, they are associations who have been empaneled by us after proper verification, and they are the ones who provide training across different food sectors in the country. This here is the number of trainers that we have. So if we have to deliver a training, we need trainers who are qualified. So we have a system of trainers, and till date we have created more than 2,000 trainers who work along different kind of businesses. So under FOSTAC at the moment we have around 19 courses, and one course is for this COVID awareness. So all these courses, they are certification courses, and they are based on the Schedule 4 requirements. That is a requirement which is the licensing and registration regulation that any food business operator has to follow and implement in their premises. So if you see this bigger number here, which is around 3,58,000, this is the total number of food handlers that we have trained since the last 3 years. So FOSTAC was launched on 16th May 2017. So over the last 3 years, these many food handlers we are able to train. And the number that you look here, the COVID-19 train number, is the number of food handlers that we have managed to train till date, starting from April. So if you have a look here, this is the COVID-19 training material, which is available for each and everyone to use. So And this upcoming trainings is how you can, so if you click on that, it will take you to a calendar and you can click on any date and see what all trainings are going on for that particular day. And if you click on any specific training, so if you see this is COVID-19 trainings, so you click on it, you will get the contact number of the training partner who is organizing the training. So the outreach of this program, like sorry, it's not outreach, it's the mobilization of how do we contact the food handlers and tell them to get trained. So this role again is taken up by the training partners, since they have been in this sector of contacting the food businesses and getting their food handlers trained. So they had taken up contacting the food businesses and creating classes and getting the food handlers trained. So also we had a link that that is available. You can see here COVID-19, click here to register yourself for COVID-19 training. So if there is a food handler or any person who is working in the food industry who is willing or who wants to get trained on the COVID-19 program, they can simply come on the web page, click here, and a small form will open up wherein they have to fill in their details like their name, their contact number. So this data, it comes to us and we collate it and we design or we allocate a training schedule for them. So this is how we've been working for COVID-19 trainings till date. That's all. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Can I ask some questions?
Sure, sir.
See, my question is that particularly COVID training, the entire concept should have been covered in HACCP also?
Yes, sir. It is covered.
That's what I'm telling. What's so special to have a separate course on COVID?
Sir, the reason why we had to have a separate course was for the FSSAI trainings that we were delivering, they were all done through a physical mode. It was a classroom-based approach. So all our training partners,
That's true. But HACCP training is already there on your program, if I understand correctly.
Yes, sir, it is there. But then there are certain additional requirements.
Why a separate? So what are those special requirements for? That's what I'm just asking. For COVID, what are those special requirements which are not covered in HACCP?
Yes, sir. So the extra requirements that was mostly about the hand washing time and the technique. The second thing was ensuring that there is a proper distance between two food handlers and how the sanitation work is going to be maintained. So all that
thing is already there in HACCP. These hand washing, distance maintenance, these are all there in HACCP.
Sir, but then the requirements
HACCP covers all your viruses. Not only, my only worry is that you have a separate courses overlapping each other.
Now it is not overlapping, sir. This was an awareness course of COVID-19, and eventually once we started that, now we have already combined it and clubbed it with our existing FSS courses. It is already clubbed now.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the second part is, since it is mandatory for food handlers to undergo all these trainings.
Yeah.
But our training so far has not been in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Has covered only about 3 lakhs or 4 lakh.
Yes,
people.
sir. It is mandatory, but we have not. It's not being mandatory per se, because we have to also see that the structure that we have. Are we able to cater to the entire food industry at this point of time? We are still at the stage where we are building our infrastructure to cater to the needs of the FBOs. There is also a lack of awareness when it comes to whether FSSAI license is required or not. So when we talk about small,
I have been in FSSAI for some time.
Okay, sir.
Had quality assurance for some time.
Okay, sir.
So during that time itself, this FSSAI was being designed.
Okay, sir.
FSSAI and all this, your modernization of labs,
Yes, sir.
that was being designed.
Yes,
So
sir.
my only worry was that overlapping is being taking place. One side you are doing this for COVID, another side you are doing HACCP.
So, but then there are certain requirements, that were in additional to the existing HACCP, and that was the reason why we had to come up with this course. So
But
initially, the concept of having 2 feet or 2 meter distance between two food handlers, that was never in place. But with the COVID, maintaining social distancing and additional checks of temperature and proper hand washing, and even the hand washing times that were changed, and we had to update our courses accordingly. So this is the need why we had to come up with this
okay.
course. And also our foster courses are, if you are already, I mean, as you're saying, you're already aware and you know how the courses are. These courses, they run from 4 hours to 12 hours.
I
All
know.
right. And sir, having the capacity of people coming in a classroom and getting trained, the thing changes drastically when we come to the online
Yes.
dissemination of these classes. So we had to have a system in place that we are sure that our training partners, they are well prepared to take this up and have proper infrastructure in place to conduct the trainings online.
Now,
So we
now
started with the smaller courses of 2 hours. So the COVID awareness course is just 2 hours, which
I know.
specifically emphasizes on the good hygienic practices and personal hygiene.
The only thing is that now we have to ensure that all food handlers get this training and
Yes, sir.
some
That's that's
monitoring
that's our agenda, sir. That's our mission.
and
That is our mission.
some
Yes, sir.
monitoring also that is not there and on in field monitoring
Sir,
that doesn't happen.
rightly, sir, you're very correct. This was not there, but as we say, we find solutions in adversity. So during this COVID times, all our trainings, they were converted into the online scene. Okay, so all
Right.
our FSS trainings, they are being conducted online at the moment. And the system
I,
that we have put in place right now, that each and every training that is happening in the country, we have a training and assessment link coming, only then the approval is given. And all the
I know.
trainings that have been conducted till date online, one member from a team is always sitting and auditing and ensuring that, and also monitoring how the training is being carried out. So this
That
particular
is
pandemic,
okay.
it gave us a nice scope of
That is
checking,
okay.
because
But
sir, it is, yeah.
we have to
We
have an
are,
audit at the field level.
yes sir, we
Audit
are
at the
working
field
on
level,
that,
at
sir.
the
We
industry
are
level, at the
working.
industry level.
Yes sir, we are working on that. We are working on
Thank you.
that, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We'll move on to the next one, sir.